Hello, everyone. Last day of the year. Hello, everyone. We are getting started here with talking about, are you in a funk and do you need to get out of it? Are you in a funk and do you need to get out of it? So it's like a perfect topic for this time of the year, and maybe just any time of the year, because guess what? We all have funk and negative thoughts that we're dealing with. I don't know. I'll speak for myself. I'm certainly in that space. And I've been speaking with a number of people the last couple of weeks. And we start down a conversation of what space are you in, what's happening, what are you feeling, what are you thinking, and it feels like the headline sometimes just ends up, I'm in a funk. So what is a funk? Because it's a phrase I grew up with. Funk is often like a thought, a feeling, a find yourself kind of in a cycle of not feeling your best. A funk is like a breakdown, or it's like a series of negative thoughts. You ever start with you ever gone into your kitchen and see ants crawling around everywhere? I've had that problem. And you're like, why do the ants keep coming? But ants are also like automatic negative thoughts, ANTS. So it's always good to have memory anchors, ANTS. And it's Jim Quick actually introduced me to the concept, but it's a Dr. Amen that actually came up with it. And at the end of the day, what automatic negative thoughts takes us into is a funk. When we start looking at a circumstance or situation and just automatically thinking and feeling the worst. Because it's through our feelings that take us to action. And often we get stuck in inaction when we're in a funk. We look at what's going on around us, we look at what's going on inside of us, and we just feel stuck. Stuck is another good way to describe the funk. But what I wanted to share, and one of my commitments is, as I learn, I want to cascade. One of the best ways to take on things yourself is when you apply it and try it, is to teach others. And if nothing else, what I've learned is teaching is my superpower, and I'll only get better at it if I practice it. So here it goes. I'm just going to give you a few tips around getting out of the funk if you ever find yourself in it. And we're going to hit on 3 key areas. One is how to treat it like magic. One is how to eat it away. And then just the last one is about something I'm going to call mirror work, and how you use your mirror to move yourself from the funk into the fantastic land that you dream of. All right. So are we ready to go? I think we are. All right. So to get out of your funk, one of the first things you want to do is just ask yourself, what's going on? What am I really feeling? Decide what type of funk are you in. Are you in the mind reading, fortune telling? You know, you can tell that everyone is thinking X about you. So fill in the blank. Everyone's thinking I'm a failure. Everyone's thinking I've had this whole pandemic. What did I end up with? You know, I had all this time and I haven't used it for anything, and I'm still back where I was. You know, I'm stuck on stupid. I keep reliving cycles. Can anybody see or hear themselves doing that? One of the things that we should always try to monitor is our emotional state. Always understand, what state am I in right now? Because if you're not aware of your emotional state, it's very difficult for you to control it or change it. So when you feel that funk coming, and that funk shows up like, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't even want to try because I know I'm going to fail. That's how the funk begins to talk to you. And really it is about some of when I talk about ants, that automatic negative talk, automatic negative thought. Remember, your mind is listening to your self-talk. And if your brain is like a supercomputer, then the self-talk is the program that is running on. Just let that sink in for a minute. That the thoughts I tell myself are the things that I choose to believe. And what I choose to believe is how I begin to act. And that's how we get into the funk, everyone, the negative thoughts. So when we have that space of I'm feeling like I'm just trapped and I don't know how to go forward, and believe me, these are the things that I've applied for myself, so I will not share anything that has not worked for me. I just kind of pause and ask myself, Patrini, what's really going on here? Is it what that person just said just now, or is it something that I'm bringing to the space? So one of the things that we want to do when we have ants is to really identify what kind of ant is it? Where is this negative thought coming from? Is this some unforgiving that I've left, didn't take care of? Is this something that I started? We talked about unfinished business a couple weeks ago. And that unfinished business can also end up being negative thoughts because you begin to believe that if I didn't complete the last thing I was supposed to do, then I'm the type of person that doesn't complete things. You start calling yourself. And in that calling of yourself, that's what you become. So get very, very clear on what type of funk am I in? What type of automatic negative thought am I in? And really, 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 get honest with yourself. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, who can you be honest with? The next thing to really think about is that abracadabra. It's like we can use magic. And this is Jim Quick. I love him. I'm actually reading with a friend right now on the book Limitless. And one of the commitments is to share what we learn. So what I've been practicing is something called Abra. And it's like abracadabra. It's like magic, right? And what I learned is the word Abra. Let me just look at my note here. That Abra actually comes from an Aramaic phrase that means I create as I speak. And Hebrew translation is, it came to pass as it was spoken. And what that all boils down to is that our mind is always listening to our self-talk and that our word is very important. So what we call a thing and what we name a thing has huge power in what results we end up bringing into the world. So in Abra, the first step is the acknowledge. Acknowledge that you're having the thing. Now, oftentimes we try to ignore it, right? We're in denial. I'm not really breaking down. I'm just, I'm not in a funk. I just keep pushing forward and I just hope that everything's going to be okay. But what you don't acknowledge, you can't deal with. And what you resist persists. Don't think about the purple giraffe. Don't think about the purple giraffe. Don't think about the purple giraffe. How many of you were visualizing a purple giraffe? So the more you resist or I tell you not to, the more the subconscious is really just hearing the purple giraffe. So pause, acknowledge this is a thing that's happening, okay? So the first step is to really acknowledge it. Don't fight it. Go with it and say, okay, don't fight them. And also don't fight for your limitation. I acknowledge when I was going through the Limitless book process that from a young age, I said I was a slower reader than average. So, of course, once I labeled myself as a slower reader, I came up with all kinds of ways to still do great on the SAT because I knew how to skim. I knew how to read the first paragraph and the last paragraph and do good enough. But I had told myself I was a slower reader, so I came up with all these ways to work around it. What if I choose a different thought? What if I say that I am a fast reader that comprehends, and I began to develop the skills to do it? Then I'm on my way. I've shifted my identity. So it's very, very important for you not to fight the negative thoughts and don't fight for them. Don't fight to defend any limitation that you've come up with for yourself. Step one. Step two is B in Abra is to breathe. Through breathing, it's amazing how we can get relaxation and focus. Obviously physical benefits as well, like blood pressure going down and just saying, I'm going to breathe out and just breathe out. Breathe out and release whatever that negative thing you're holding on to that's taking you into that funk. Just release it. I want you to just imagine that negative, the thing that's a limit for you right now, it's just physically leaving your body almost like you're just rejecting a cough, where it's just walking out of your body. It's oozing out of the bottom of your foot. It's just gone. Just release it. Release it with the breath. And then the next step is to, as you're releasing that thing, we want you to now inhale and take a breath in that allows you to align. Align yourself to the new thought. Even if it's as simple as coming up with a sentence that is the exact opposite of those thoughts that have been taking you down that path into your funk. Because it's a path into funk, right? It's where you say, I am not a slow reader. Hi there, bride to mom. Hi there. I'm a very fast reader that comprehends. And that's what your mind begins to hear and believe. And then you start giving it evidence as you go beyond this step in the process. So the last one is to align. Come up with a new phrase that takes you to the place of where you want to be, that defeats the ants in your mind. You want to just always kill those ants, and this is the way you do it. The last one that I want you to do is, in this final step, something I call mirror work and self-talk. Because when you're needing to replace the ant with something that's a positive affirmation, this is when you pick up the mirror, you look at yourself and you say, self, what's it gonna be? I know that I get to keep anything that I fight for. And what am I choosing to fight for? What is the future that I want? 5 years from now, you just start having this very honest conversation with yourself. And quite honestly, we will tell other people, truths, be very honest, but sometimes we try to hide from ourselves. So get in that mirror and have that honest, true talk. You can even use affirmations at this point to say, I am proud of Petrinia because. I will forgive Petrinia because. And I'm looking forward to Petrinia bringing this into the world. That's the kind of mirror talk, self-talk that's going to take you to the next level. So the third area that I promised, my bookmark just fell out. But I found this magazine that I was reading last night, and it's called Foods That Boost Your Mood. And I just wanted to share some of them. Carbohydrates, we view them negatively, but they actually help to release tryptophan. That tryptophan is the thing we have after we eat our turkey, our Thanksgiving, Christmas meal, or maybe New Year's meal that you're going to have tomorrow. But the tryptophan actually helps to get the serotonin produced, and that lifts our mood. That's a brain chemical. The next one that I really found surprising was proteins. Proteins are the raw materials from which neurotransmitters, including serotonin, are manufactured. So the best protein sources are like lean organic meat, beef, pork or lamb or poultry, fish, low-fat or fat-free dairy products. Legumes, lentils are becoming my favorite go-to because with lentils you can cook them. You can also put them in burgers, and then they're becoming like, a plant-based protein, but it feels like a burger and you're just not eating as much meat. Those are things. And so in a good mood meal, this was a whole day an example. So breakfast was like shredded wheat, cereal, 2 tablespoons of raisins, fat-free milk, and 1 egg. No butter or margarine, use olive oil or something. A mid-morning snack was fat-free milk and an omelet from 4 eggs or 2 ounces of sliced turkey. And then, so getting the beans and getting the tuna and getting the carrots, even peanut butter with a little bananas, all of these are indicated to help lift your mood, and those are ways to take you out of the funk. Getting you some salmon that's full of omega-3 and lots of protein are awesome ways to lift yourself out of a funk. So let me know if you got anything valuable out of this talk today, and let me know if you can go and apply anything that you learned. Let me know how it's going. You can reply on Petrinia Speaks on Instagram and follow me there, or you can feel free to email at Petrinia, PATRENIAWO @gmail.com. I'll be glad to hear your thoughts and let me know, have you been lifted out of your funk? Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.